It's Mailbag Monday here on CHGO Blackhawks. Who will be the cornerstone players? Should we change power play quarterback to power play point guard? And who's our favorite diehard? Find out next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Monday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. We're glad you're here. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Mario Tirabassi.
Hello.
Katie Duffy's here running the show for us today. We're going to get to all of your Hawks and otherwise questions that you sent to us on our Diehards Only Discord and our Twitter account at CHGO_Blackhawks. So if you're not following us there, make sure you're doing that. And subscribe, like, follow, review, all that great stuff.
Yes.
It helps us out big time.
Give us a rating of 5 stars, please.
Yeah. Feel free to tell us why we suck in the comments.
Yeah, that's fine.
But just make it 5 stars.
As long as it's 5 stars.
I think that's a nice compromise.
I'll actually read it if it's 5 stars. I'll be like, ooh, a 5-star review with some comments. And
I
then
don't
if
read
it's
them at all.
criticism,
They
it's
make me
like
sad.
criticism. It's just like, all right, well, 5 stars. They're doing what we asked.
Me and Greg were on Friday. One jabroni comes into the chat and he's like, the ginger guy says some dumb stuff sometimes. Stuck with me all weekend. So
Really?
yeah. Yeah. That's all right. I got therapy Wednesday. I'll work through it.
That's all right.
I tried to take in the immortal words of Taylor Swift and treat my mental health like a luxury.
That's a good.
Didn't work.
It's a good quote.
It failed me
and
this weekend. I was frustrated.
You get the segue point.
I was like, what could they have been talking about? What did I say that didn't make sense? And I feel like I was really prepared for Friday's show. I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't.
One
even
name
say,
I've never
Fine.
seen before.
You didn't even say anything stupid. That's
I mean,
Usually it's the
Probably.
accounts and names that you've never seen before that say the dumb things to us or about us, and it's just like, all right.
also, real quick, I want to shout out the people I mentioned last week, my book, and said, if you want a copy of my book, hit me up. Like 4 or 5 people did it. Those were shipped out and delivered.
Nice.
I've got 4 left at my house. I'm not ordering another case because I got to pay for those with my own money. So if you want a signed one, you either got to buy one and find me or hit me up on Twitter at Jay Zawaski, and I can ship one out to you, signed and personalized and everything. So let me know if you want a copy of my
Find
book.
Jay out in the world.
I'd love to get that box out of my closet.
Yeah.
100%. 4 to go. So hit me up, and we'll get it done. All right, let's
do it.
get to the mailbag, shall we? Katie, do the honors.
Can I derail the show real quick?
I've already done it, so go ahead.
Katie's our producer, and that, of course, means we need to make some time for some Taylor Swift
2 references in 4 minutes.
chatter. So today she announced something purple that was underwhelming, according to Katie. It's not something big. It's just a different style of album cover or some sort of thing. Something that didn't warrant a countdown, as Katie says. And that got me thinking. And this might be a hot take, and I don't mean to throw the chat into a tizzy over this hot take of Taylor Swift, but all her special things and little Easter eggs and all this long-form story stuff, it's too much. It's too much.
Careful.
I don't... The amount of people that I've seen online that are, like, dissecting her podcast appearance of, like, maybe she's saying things that are lyrics in her new... Like, just, okay. If she's doing that, you're trying too hard. You're already one of arguably the most famous people on the planet. You don't also need to be, like, the Riddler. Like, just make your music. Everyone loves it.
I agree with everything Taylor Swift does. Don't come after me. That's at Mario_Tirabassi.
I know it's spicy to say, Taylor, you're doing too much.
The opinions of Mario Tirabassi do not represent
to be the
CHGO
most
Blackhawks
famous
or the ALLCITY network.
person in the world. But, like, I don't know. It just, that feels like, to me, you're making your fans work too hard.
You know,
Right?
I think the best part, and she said this on the podcast, is that if you don't want to engage with that stuff, you don't have to. You can just enjoy her music, and you don't have to. Because I'm not an Easter egg person. I think it's amusing when people
Cadbury
twist
cream eggs.
themselves into knots on Twitter, and like I get a chuckle out of it, but like I'm not one of those people that's searching for it, and yet I'm still like a huge fan of her.
Yeah, it's like
So you don't have to engage in
you
it.
have
In
to
the
like
immortal
Zapruder
words,
film her like
the
outfits and stuff. Like I don't know.
of the original Taylor Swift, Sheryl Crow. If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.
Original Taylor's.
That's where I'm at. If it makes people happy and it's not hurting anybody, go nuts. All right, mailbag time. Enough tomfoolery.
All right. I'm officially. Does that
You're
that
canceled.
officially make
No,
me
you're canceled.
anti-Taylor Swift?
You're gonna get.
Can I start grifting? Perfect. Yes, that's just what I wanted to do. All right. Anyways.
Oh wow,
You're all here for hockey.
We got a big homework assignment to start the show
Can
here.
you rank your 10 most important players of the dynasty?
Yes,
Whew.
Kane, Taves. Oh, we gotta rank them, or can I say 10?
You can name 10, and then we'll rank them from there.
All right,
I might have a completely different 10.
I'm gonna try to rank them top of my head.
It's Jimmy Waite.
Keith.
Uh-huh.
Kane,
Number 1?
Yes, Keith, Kane, Taves, Seabrook, Hossa, Hjalmarsson, Sharp, Crawford, Boland. Who's got 3? Who else has 3? Who am I missing?
There's 7 that have 3. You've got all of them, I think. The only 2 on that list that don't have 3 are Boland and Crawford.
I'm going to say Brian Campbell because he set the tone for signing in Chicago. There's my 10.
Okay. Okay. Number 1, as far as importance, I'm going to agree that Keith is number 1. I'm going to say because of the roles he filled, Taze is 2. Then I'll go Kane. Then 4, I'll say Hossa.
Ooh.
Then I'll go Seabrook at 5. I'll say Corey Crawford at
Okay.
6, then Sharp at 7.
Yeah, I could flip those potentially. Yeah.
Hjalmarsson. Boland's on there for sure. And
Tenth
then
one's tough.
yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
I got Hjalmarsson.
Man, I can only name 9 really important members of the dynasty right now. Jeez.
My 10th, I'll throw in. I'll say Oduya.
Okay.
I think Oduya, like, obviously that 15 cup run, you kind of survived off of like 3 defenders, but you also needed Johnny Oduya through that time frame of 15 and 13. Yeah, definitely got him in there.
The Woodcock says no love for Andrew Shaw. He's got an
We
argument.
only got to 10.
Yeah, Windy City said Brandon Sod. Sod's got a good...
Sod's up there.
Sod's
Yeah,
up
if
there
we went to
too.
15, those 2 names would be on there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Nathan says, how is Hossa not higher? I don't believe they win a cup without Hossa. Well, they don't win one without Keith for sure. Kane and Taze were the cornerstones of the franchise.
I mean, Hossa at
Hossa's-
5 for you and at 4 for me. I think it's pretty.
That's probably about right.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
I
but
think
Keith
that's
and
pretty
Seabrook
fair.
were synonymous with each other. One of the best pairs in the history of the game.
yeah.
And they really set the tone for that team. So that's why I have them there.
Yeah, Jay Strassner says Bickle you could throw into that top 10 group. Yeah, I mean his run in 13, they don't get as far as they do without him.
Sure.
He had a huge role in that. First goal of the 2 of 17 seconds.
Who'd have thought that after all these years, people would be looking back at Brian Bickle fondly because of what that contract cost them so much to get rid of.
yeah.
People hated Brian Bickle during his time here after that deal. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and then you come to learn things about him.
New
off
stuff
the
has
ice
come to
and-
light, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. The narrative
Yeah.
around him definitely like turned around, and I think people's empathy for him. I think that's when it kicked in. They were like, oh, well,
Yeah.
he wasn't the same guy because literally his body physically wasn't the same anymore.
I'm going to invent another saying, just as I've invented Mailbag Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes 2 to tango.
Yeah, you had
Time-
another one
yeah.
recently. Can't remember what it
I
was.
can't
though.
remember.
Yeah,
Time heals all wounds.
that's
No
good.
one's ever said that before either.
I'm gonna steal that.
Send that one to Taylor, Katie. She can use it on her album. All right, next up. This from JD. Who is your favorite diehard? You can't pick Holly.
Oh, gosh.
Damn it.
Well, throw it out the window then.
Yeah.
Favorite diehard. You know, you're not... Diehards are like your children. You're not supposed... If you have more than one, you're not supposed to pick your favorite. So, being a dad of one child, I will not pick my favorite.
Sometimes I say to her, you are my least favorite child. Of all the children I have, you're my least favorite. Or of my children, I love you the most.
For the sake of having to pick one, and this is to no fault of anyone else's.
Yeah.
But I will say, for the fact that this person has kind of become one of the leaders, if not maybe the leader of our diehard group in our Discord channel, I will say Dead Hawk.
That was on my list because I also love the Avatar, the Grateful Dead Blackhawks mashup.
Yes, that's a good one.
And for the leadership shown in the Discord, like that. Also get that from Holly, but we can't pick her. And Windy City Hockey brings us freaking candy to every game.
Yeah, it's a
I mean, he
choice.
bribes us.
That's a top choice.
So you're all wonderful.
Yeah,
we love you all.
Yeah, and everyone brings their own. It's a nice soup of our Discord and our diehards. Of everyone brings their own flavor to the pot, and it all mixes well. Just add a little salt, and you're good.
Yeah, we love everybody. And if you come to our takeovers, we're big fans of yours too.
Basically, the more money you spend for us,
you can buy our love 100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. And I will say too, I really appreciate our diehards for their support. Obviously, without them, we wouldn't be able to do all the things that we've been able to do with CHGO and all the events we have and everything like that. People repping, CHGO, and not just Blackhawks, but CHGO across the board. People buy merch, they wear it out and about at Bulls games, Hawks games, Bears games, all that stuff. Doing spreading the word as diehards to help us grow and everything like that. Like that is very much appreciative, and also I like going in and chatting with the Discord and kind of getting a temperature of where our diehards, see our content at. Because, a lot of times Jay and I and, when Greg was around, we'd just collaborate and think, oh, these would be good topics. These would be good shows. These would be fun things to do. And sometimes they're really fun for us, but then, you kind of go through the diehard response and it's like, it's not as hot as we thought. And then there's small things that we might do as like one-offs, and they're like, they love it. Like the tank spins. Yeah. And
the organic stuff is always the best.
Yeah.
That's
just the inside jokes and yep. All that, like how it grows and translates and becomes things. It's a lot of fun. So again, I appreciate every single one of our diehards. And again, like I said, like without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do any of the cool stuff that we do here.
100%. And Jason T says renewed today. So thank you, Jason.
Awesome.
We appreciate that. And we're going to see a bunch of our diehards out Friday at Cog Hill.
Yes.
Come watch me chase my balls all over the place.
Yeah.
I should not be allowed to play there. Katie, once again, family program.
Come on, Katie.
Grow up.
Come on, Katie.
That's what they're called.
You've just taken an innocent saying and made it completely something else, Katie. Come on.
You know what? Let's take a break.
They're doing this on purpose.
We're going to hit the break zone. We're going to have a little chat with Katie and her dirty mind. We'll be back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. Hit the like button. What is Sunnyside? Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. Whether you're new, whether you're a pro, you're going to find everything you need to elevate your summer at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Let me tell you, the other night during that storm, trouble sleeping, forgot to take my counting sheep from Good News, my favorite brand at Sunnyside. Got out of bed, had half of one, out like a light. Slept through the rest of the night. Ouch. Unbelievable. Visit Sunnyside.shop to find your perfect thing every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter that promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, only for 21 plus. or Illinois Med card holders. And if you're an existing customer, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
It is hot still this summer, and it is still summer.
Yes.
Even though kids are back in school, it's still the summer for the rest of us. That means our friends at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric have your back when it comes to your air conditioning system. And they've had your back for over 50 years in the Chicagoland area. They make sure that your ACs are installed, maintained, and repaired when necessary. And, of course, when your AC or furnace or your plumbing or anything like that, or your electric goes out on a weekend at night, like Saturday at 11 p.m. in Grays Lake, they don't charge you extra for those emergency services. They want to make sure that you get your power back on, you get your pipes plumbed, and you get your heat or your air, whatever it is, ready to go. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all of their special offers and money-saving coupons. Again, that's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
All right, I threatened the chat. If we don't get more likes, I'm moving this here sign, and you're going to get a look at these. You don't want to see those white legs. How are my legs this white? I have
you're
been
talking about your
outside
legs. Okay.
all summer. I think the camera's making them look whiter than they are.
Maybe.
I think it's the lights.
They don't look... I mean, you look like you got some summer glow on your legs and arms.
Sometimes I think the sun just forgot
You
about
get
me.
your bodily hue gets warmer as it goes upwards here.
Yes, it does.
So, okay, can you look at my face real quick?
Yes.
Does it look like I was in Florida like this weekend?
No.
Okay, so it must I
Were
went.
you in Florida this weekend?
Wow, I look super not from Florida there. No, I wasn't. This weekend I went to. I had took Friday off. Family just did a little weekend up in Milwaukee. It was a lot of fun. And I was like looking in the mirror at the hotel we stayed at, and my face just looked like the Baddard jersey here on our table. I was like, why is my face so red? And I wore a hat. It wasn't super sunny, and it was just really weird. So it must have just been the lighting in the mirror, because like I was like thrown off by how red my face looked. But I guess it just doesn't. I don't know.
Check your blood
It was
pressure,
just
my friend.
Just
Do
the
it.
lighting.
You're going to be that age.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin wants us to talk sports, so let's get to the mailbag.
Sports.
Sorry, Kevin.
Sports ball. All right, let's get back to the mailbag. I guess that's why we're all here, right?
All right, Gooseman Mailbag. Any thoughts on an all-city chill league? For those that don't know, that's NHL, the video game series, for diehards and staff for the dog days of the offseason. I'm pretty sure each city could ice at least 10 to 20 players between the 5 all-city networks. I am down with that.
Gooseman,
I don't want to organize it.
If you want to coordinate that,
Yeah.
be my guest.
I'd love to play in it. I'd love to be part of it. But
that would be a lot of fun.
I have tried to do these things before. We tried to do an MLB The Show league back when I was on the Score, and it takes too many people to play, and you get half the people that they sign up and are really enthusiastic, and then a day into it, they're done.
1 week, and then they're
Yeah,
gone.
and then it kind of tanks the whole thing.
It's like getting a fantasy football or hockey league together. It's just like sometimes you might get the people that are every day checking their lineups and transactions and all that, and then it's the person is late to the draft, but then they draft and then they never change their lineup, and then they somehow get like 6 wins.
They're gonna beat me every year, just by auto dressing. That would be super
a
fun.
lot of fun. It sounds like GM Connected, something everyone wants in the NHL video game that they haven't had for 12 years.
Yikes. Well,
one step at a time. We get
maybe
Be a
next
Pro
year.
fixed this year.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Maybe next year we'll see about GM Connected.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds like one of those things that's never, ever coming back, unfortunately.
All right, more sports. Come on.
Now, that was video game sports. Is that okay?
Nope.
Video game sports?
G-Bubs says, we often hear about hockey IQ in a player's profile. What specifically does that look like on the ice? Is it something perceptual that you have or do not have, or can you actively learn and develop it? For example, Gretzky knew where the play was going long before his opponents and could see the game develop. How can a skilled player with lower hockey IQ develop? That's a really good question. Mm-hmm. I do think there are certain players that are just born with the instincts, and I think Wayne Gretzky is the greatest example of that, because he's always he has said that, as you said, G-Bubs. I just knew where the puck was going to end up before it was there, so I knew to be there. And that's like a psychic ability that I don't know if you can learn that, but I do think that you can develop a hockey IQ in a player where there's so many guys that come, and this is really in any sport. Everyone who plays in the NHL or MLB or NBA or whatever it is was the greatest player on their team at some point. And I think this is we talked about this way about Connor Baddard, right? Is Connor Baddard dominated every league he ever played in. So coming to the NHL for the first time, he had to learn some lessons over the first 2 years of his career of this is not going to fly at the NHL. So as time goes on, as they gain experience and minutes and shifts and everything, then I think the hockey IQ can develop. But in terms of that like supernatural instinct to know where the thing is going to go, I don't know if that can be caught or taught. I don't think so.
There's definitely different levels to it. Like some guys just have that innate ability to just be like, know where a play is going to develop. And I think there's a skill level to it too, because knowing your own skill level and knowing your teammates' skill level and how they play the game, you get a sense of what you can do with the puck, what they can do with it or without it, and where guys tend to be. Look at, I think one of the best examples of that. Now, genetics have a say in this, but the Sedin twins. They're the same person basically. Yeah. But they were able to play with each other so well because they thought the game similarly, they played the game similarly, and they played together growing up their entire life. So you had that chemistry and that rapport. A lot of guys get that with certain teammates that they have different play styles or see the ice similarly. Like we talk about a lot how it can be hard to play alongside a guy like Patrick Kane because of the way he sees the game, thinks the game, and plays the game. Like you have to be able to, players on with Kane at that time, you have to be able to think like, okay, even though I may not necessarily be in a position to get the puck, he can get it to me. So I have to be ready all the time. So it just kind of like rewires how you think the game and how you play the game. And I think for me, like the way that I kind of break down like a hockey IQ is just kind of understanding the flow of the game, who you're on the ice with, and specifically like where to go when you don't have the puck. And I think it can be super basic of I don't have the puck, but we're in the offensive zone. I'm going to go to the net and try and create something, either a screen, be there for a rebound, super basic that way. Or there's, a way to break it down of, okay, the puck is cycling behind the net. It's going to go to the top of the circle. It's going to go D across, and know that the defense is going to flow with the puck. If the person who comes from, let's say, the near boards cycles the puck around, if you stay towards that back post, if the puck cycles around, you might be uncovered. You might be able to sneak back in, kind of like Dave Bolin did in the 17 seconds goal.
Yep.
He dives into the offensive zone, kind of goes around the net, and is able to get inside position on Boychuk for the rebound because he didn't even know he was there.
Right.
Like there's different levels to how you see the game, how it flows, and the decisions you make. And I think one of the things that we're seeing with Blackhawks prospects specifically is a guy like AJ Spellacy. He's a raw talent, and he's only fully committed to playing hockey for the last few seasons. Mm. But one of the things that has been a positive note for him so far from last year going into this year, what he did at the World Junior Summer Showcase and what's going to potentially make him a part of Team USA and a bigger part for his junior club this year, is his decision-making. And that's just kind of getting more used to the flow of the game and what to do when you do and don't have the puck. And that's something that he's growing before he even gets to the NHL.
I think also you see that term hockey IQ is used a lot more for the more highly skilled players because they've got an ability to, like if Patrick Kane can see out of the corner of his eye, there's Alex DeBrincat or Artemi Panarin, he also has the skill to get it there.
Right, yeah.
Right? Whereas like you could see your fourth line plug, see that, and be like, oh, look at that, he's open. But no, there's no way in hell I have the ability to get it through, to saucer it over or whatever it might be.
Well, the I think of the Duncan Keith goal, the first goal of the 2015 Cup clincher, where Kane gets the puck into the offensive zone, and it's like a 1-on-4.
Yeah.
And he just floats it right down the blue line because he can see and knows Duncan Keith is coming into the offensive zone, hits him in stride, and Keith goes right to the net.
Right. Good question. I like that one. We got time for one more before the break?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. And Steve also says film sessions with PD increase hockey IQ. That's true.
100%.
Yes.
This from Alex A. Swiss says, looking back at the 2006-2007 season, how optimistic have you been back then that things were going to be great? Back then, nobody knew how good Taves, Kane, Keith were going to be. Are the vibes now similar or different for you? We could have the most cornerstones in the system, especially if McKenna, Verhoff, or Stenberg are also added. So I think the question is, if I'm translating it correctly, is are we as excited about the future now as we were back in 2006, 2007? I would say I'm probably more optimistic right now.
Yeah.
Because you already know you've got some really solid pieces to this thing already. Baddard's here, Nazar's here, Renzel and Levshun are here, Vlasic's here. So you know there's 5 right there that you're pretty confident saying are going to be good NHL players for a long time. It's a matter of how good on all of them. If I go back and look at 06, 07, a lot of the hope for the Hawks then was in like Tuomo Ruutu.
Yeah.
And those kind of players. And Ruutu ended up being a nice player, battled some injuries throughout his entire career, but his best years were in Carolina. But like
Seabrook was there.
Yeah, but
Keith
like
was there.
You didn't know what those guys were going to turn into. I don't think anyone envisioned when Duncan Keith or Brent Seabrook were drafted that they were going to be Hall of Fame type players.
Right.
I don't think anyone had that in mind. But I'm just looking at like the team from that year. Rennie Bork was 25. Yep. And even like their young players, like James Wisniewski was a guy people were excited about, but he was already 22.
Rabada, right?
Yeah, but he'd kind of been around. Like Bufflin was 21. And you saw,
but he
like,
wasn't a regular.
No,
Yeah.
but you saw signs of, okay, there's some young pieces here, and like maybe 1 or 2 of these guys hit. Now I think you're already looking at 5 guys you're pretty much ready to call hits right away, and there's so many of these first round picks that have been made over the last few years that haven't even played in the NHL yet.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at Frondell and Levshun's played 9, but barely has played in the NHL. Boisvert, those kind of guys, they haven't even gotten here yet, and there's more to come. So I think they're further along now than they were in 06, 07.
Yeah, and I think too the access of information is a lot different. Back in 06, 07, you didn't have so many outlets of information for the future.
True.
Unless you knew who your first round pick was, more often than not, you weren't paying attention too much to them. Right. And media coverage was completely different. And team wasn't on TV. That's also, a part of it. So I think, I would say for me, looking at the future of the organization right now, the knowledge of the players is completely different than when I was 16, 17 in high school.
Yeah.
Kind of just, you got the knowledge that you did. You could read the paper, you could hear about it on, sports radio, maybe. You dive into the early days of blog sites, HF boards and everything was a big thing. Like, but there really wasn't that, depth to it, and also the not just depth but breadth of the coverage. Guys like Chris Peters and Cam Robinson weren't.
Oh yeah,
there weren't guys like that at that time. It wasn't like that wasn't the environment of getting the knowledge of these players. Leading up to the draft is when you would hear about these phenoms for a few months. And then it would be like, oh, okay, well, let me dive back and look at this guy's stats. You kind of get a little bit. It wasn't like 2 years from. It wasn't like 2 years from now you knew who the top guy in the draft class was. It just wasn't common knowledge.
Not at all. Yep.
So it's a lot different now. But I would say just because of that fact, I'm more excited and more optimistic now because of how much information I you can consume about it.
Good points. Very well said. All right, we're going to hit the break zone one more time. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Let's get those likes up. We got 50 right now. Not good enough. Get those likes in. We'll be back in 2 minutes right here on CHGO Blackhawks. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. With the MLB early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead. That'd be nice, Cubs. With an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app, use the code CHGO365 when you sign up. When you do, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. And those bonus bets can be used on the spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services
Nailed it.
Can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Offer is in-app only.
And if you want to see your favorite baseball team get that 5-run lead, you might want to do it in person with our friends at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier. The prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. They have killer last-minute deals. The view from your seat function, so if you're looking for a ticket, you can get a panoramic view of that seat to make sure it's the right view for you. And they have their lowest price guarantee, which means if you find that ticket for that seat at a different site for a different price, a better one, you can bring it to Game Time and they will credit you 110% of the difference. That's how much they care that you are getting the best deal possible through them. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, download the app, create an account, use the code CHGO. $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
All right, we're back. We're halfway through the show, not nearly halfway through the mailbag. So let's keep rifling through. If you want to send us a mailbag, you can tweet at us at CHGO_Blackhawks. Usually on Sunday nights, Sunday afternoons, we'll put out the warning tweet to let you know it's coming. So reply to that. Or if you're a diehard, you get priority. So go to allchgo.com/join to become part of our diehard program. Here, you're not only going to get access to the mailbag, but you're going to get a free shirt or hat upon sign up. You're going to get access to all of our great written content. It's a great deal. Check it out. And I'm looking right now, $48 for the year as of this moment.
Not bad.
So jump on that. Take advantage. The shirt itself is worth, what, like $35?
Yeah.
So do the math. It's really good savings. And you save 20% on our upcoming watch parties, which are in the in takeovers, which are in the works now. Mm-hmm. Pre-game tailgates for all home Bears games. So you're not going to want to miss it. Become a diehard.
When they go 8-0 at home.
That's exactly right.
Or
just go with
8,
it.
9?
I don't know.
How many home games do they have this year? Because now they have an odd number of...
Several.
They have an odd number of regular scheduled games now.
It doesn't matter. The last number on their home
and
record
playoff
will be
games,
0.
and there'll be a trip for the Super Bowl, so you'll save 20% on all of that.
There you go. See? Smart by you. allchgo.com/join.
I want to bring attention to Lebowski 5's comment here. It says the awareness of how far along they are now is more prevalent, but in reality, they were probably further along then, 2006, 2007. People just didn't know it. I think that's pretty fair. I think looking at that 06, 07, 08 time frame, who was in the system, who ended up becoming those guys that were key pieces of that run.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys were already here. Taze, Kane, Keith Seabrook, they were already here. Sharp was there. Like, there was a lot of that, and I think you can say, like, probably are further ahead than you are now. But right now, you're very close to having those guys in the system that you would say would be those cornerstones of the era moving forward with Baddard and Nazar and Vlasic and Levshinov, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to that time frame. Now, you just kind of need those guys to take those next steps professionally, become the NHL team.
Yeah, 06, 07 was a question. They drafted Taves that year. Then he went back and played a year of college.
Yes.
And then him and Kane joined the team the next season
Together.
But I think those two being added were like this is what Chris Peters said, and people always got it confused. He says, like, Baddard would have been ideal to add at the end of the rebuild as the last piece, where Baddard is really the first piece. But as the pieces come, he will be getting better and better and better. So either way, you're happy to have him. But that's kind of so 06, 07 is where things were really ending for the Hawks, because while they weren't really on the roster, you still had a young Brian Bickle, Dave Bowen, again, young. Like these guys up and
they
coming.
were in the org, yeah.
And they all hit in different ways.
Yeah.
But they all hit and became valuable players.
Guys that ended up playing for Norfolk/Rockford for the next few seasons and then came up to the NHL.
Right.
Yeah.
And Storytime Wonders says there isn't a half lad on this team. True, but I think you didn't have as many high end, like you didn't have Baddard on that team either. 06, 07,
you
didn't
didn't have
Baddard.
you didn't have a Baddard. Yeah, exactly. Then Kane and Taves were added.
Right. And Baddard is really your half lad if we're going by that metric. All right.
Hopefully a lot better.
That'd be great. And healthier. Knock on
Longer
wood.
term.
All right, next one here comes from Edward. Says a Saturday afternoon question for Monday's mailbag. A, generally accepted that at present we have an abundance of NHL-ready defensemen, but maybe not enough NHL-ready forwards. B,
Yes, generally accepted.
among those defensemen, Kevin Cchinsky is viewed as somewhat lacking in physicality as well as his defensive acumen, but also regarded as a strong skater and playmaker. Has there been, or will there ever be, any consideration on converting Cchinsky from a defenseman into a forward rather than trading him to get a forward? I would say there is a 0.01% chance of that happening.
Agreed. Yeah. Before you even know what he is as a full-time NHL defenseman, who's not a rookie, playing in the NHL because he has to, I don't think you're talking about changing his position at all. If he's 30 and hasn't cracked the NHL as a defenseman with that kind of skill set, then then you throw out the hypothetical of, what if he plays forward? You don't do it when he's 21.
No, I don't think so. And I think we've seen, he's played, 100 NHL games?
98, I think.
Yeah, he's not awful defensively.
No, yeah.
There's this perception that he just was out on the ice his rookie year. Just giving up goals, and it turns out that was not the case. Like, there were little lessons here and there, and they wanted him to be a little more physical around the net, to engage a little more. But I think a lot of that was just...
He also was 19.
Being 19, working his way into the league, being on a pretty veteran-heavy roster at that time. Like, it's a scary transition for a kid coming from the Western Hockey League to the NHL, because he has to, because of the rules.
Yeah.
And being asked to be one of the team's better defensemen right out of the box. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's a really tough assignment. Like, you wouldn't do that to Levshov right now and say, go out there and be the top prospect at the moment. That's really tough to ask. But you've got Vlasic, and you've got Renzel, who's older. Renzel is not a child. He's 21.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit...
You gotta let these guys figure out what they are in their positions before even changing anything.
Right.
That's not a route that they're going to go.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to think that Kevin Cchinsky is not going to develop into a good and very valuable NHL defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
How good remains to be seen. How much his full game comes around remains to be seen. But what we've seen so far from Kevin Cchinsky is positive. You should feel encouraged about him. Just because he hasn't come in and taken the NHL by storm just yet, it's okay. Give it time. Let him get bigger. Let him get stronger. Let him grow in confidence.
Yeah, this year will be a big year for him as far as where he's at now, a few years out of his draft year. Now a full season between his first rookie year and now this will be his third year professionally. And spending the majority of last year in Rockford, more time, maturing as a person and physically, and he's going into a training camp where there's NHL spots to be fought for and NHL time to be earned, and he's a guy that is in that mix for sure. So there's no need to pull the cord on him now when this is the best opportunity he's had to basically prove hey, I'm an NHL guy.
Josh says, when you have Magna and Tenorti as your partners, it's a rough year.
Yeah.
And then Michael Evans points out that his father passed away midway through the season, too.
It's
As someone who's just experienced that, it's not normal for a long time. And that is a massive blow to a kid that young,
Right.
especially out of the blue like that. I can't imagine. So I think he's going to be fine. I would expect him to come into camp and have a lot of people say, oh,
That would be nice.
this looks different.
Yeah.
That would be, I'm hoping for it. Make some tough decisions for Kyle Davidson and company.
Yep.
All right, next up, Katie, who do we got? This one from Maticus says, listening last week, NHL 94, the game was mentioned. I always wonder, are 93 and 94 the more popular when 95 used the same engine and offered full season and playoffs trades creative player? If I remember correctly, is it that 93 had fighting and 94 had the blood on the ice? I can't tell you how many seasons I played with all teams on 95 because of its full season mode. I think that 95 is superior to those three.
As a full game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, was 93 the one with blood?
No, I think
Yes.
that was 93
It was 93 because that was when they didn't have the team names. It was like just LA, Chicago.
Okay.
It was the NHL PA hockey in 93.
Yeah.
And I think in 94, as it got more
popular.
they took the blood out. It was a little bit, for a 16-bit video game, that was a lot of blood.
Well,
You made Gretzky's head bleed.
it was hockey of the 90s. There was a lot of blood. Yeah, I think, for me, I think 94 became the more popular one. And that was the one I played more of as I got like older and into the hockey games and hockey, as a fan and everything, and then going back and playing it on old systems, which where I didn't have it as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have it when I was like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. But going back, I was just like, oh, everyone talks about 94. Let me get it and play it. Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, Nate says 93 was the one on Swingers, which is a head bleed. And for those that missed the head bleeding era of NHL 93, every time your player got injured, it was the same. They would lay down, but then you had to wait a tick to see if the blood was going to come out. And if the blood came out, they were out for the whole game.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was just a small injury, they'd be out for a while. They'd miss a shift or whatever. So there was that moment of suspense when your star player got laid out, if it was going to be a head bleeding incident or not. Yeah, that was a significant amount of blood for a video game that in that era. I can see why they got rid of it.
What I miss about games of that era, specifically with like the old Maddens, is when you'd have a player injured and the ambulance would come out onto the field and run over the player.
Yes, that was the greatest. Just full speed, and if you're in the way of the ambulance, you're going to be flying out of the way of the ambulance very quickly.
Oh,
that
was good stuff.
It's just, leave that in there. It's fun. People laugh about
Simpler
it.
time. I hope
right.
NHL 26 has
An ambulance that
Has the
runs over
ambulance.
Matthew Tkachuk.
yeah.
I'm down.
Sure.
Rooney says, when did we, sports fans, jump the shark when it came to tanking? Maybe I wasn't paying attention as much as a youth, but was everyone saying blow it up every few years? I think there's an obvious explanation for this when we're talking hockey. Salary cap.
Yes.
You can't buy yourself out of a bad team anymore.
Yeah, prior to the 04-05 lockout in hockey, you just paid players money, and it didn't matter how much. There was no like luxury tax system, and it just came down to how much each owner and GM wanted to pay their players. And the Red Wings, those Red Wings teams of the late 90s and early 2000s, like those guys, like Sergei Fedorov was making like $15 million a year back in like 2000, the late in the late 90s. And then when they had that lockout and they come back with the hard cap, it nuked salaries.
Yes, it did.
Like Jágr was making like 15 million, and then boom, goes down to like 7 million or whatever. Like and only now are we back to the actual physical dollars of what those players were making back then, and it's not even equivalent, and it's not even close to equivalent anymore. The reason that the Bill Wirtz era Blackhawks, and why he was cheap is just he just didn't spend the money that
Right.
he could have on players. That's why Jeremy Roenick had a contract dispute. I'm getting a excuse me. Why Jeremy Roenick had like a contract dispute, and that led to him leaving the team.
Yeah.
It's just you didn't you didn't have the idea of like, oh, we have to be bad, we have to shed salary, we're just going to get all these young guys. Like a lot of the mentality around, you know, the old NHL was, we'll just get all the best free agents, trade all your futures and cash for the best players, and you just pay them all what you want, and there's your best team.
Yes. Just for reference, the 2002 Red Wings. I wonder what this team would cost right now. Shanahan, Fedorov, Hull, Lidstrom, Robitaille, Yzerman, Larionov, Chelios, Datsuk, Draper, Holmstrom, Maltby, McCarty, Dominic Hasek.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely over
Krupp,
the cap.
who was expensive. Manny Legacy was a good backup goalie.
Definitely over
Sean
the cap.
Avery. I mean, this team is probably 2 teams worth of salary cap right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just, and that's how it was. Just keep paying people. Pay your way out of it. So now, when you start to hit that decline in your dynasty, just look at what's happening with the Penguins right now, right? Like, they tried and tried. Like, let's add Erik Karlsson, see if it puts us over the top. Like, no, not really. And now they're kind of stuck. So, and there's no way to really buy yourself out of it until they're gifted Gavin McKenna in a draft lottery, which we all know is happening. All right. Good question. But I think it's salary cap. Very simple. Next up is Warren Bedard's. Wow, this is long. All right, I'm going to mess this up. Oh.
Can I think this is an ESPN article from 2002. I think it has the salaries of those Red Wings. Hold on. Total payroll was $66.29 million, which I think would be the salary cap floor now.
Yes.
So think 23 years ago, $66 million meant. The salary cap, when they came back from the lockout, wasn't it like $41 million? Something around
that feels right,
around
yeah.
that range.
The Hawks' current cap hit, by the way, is $77 million. Yeah. Just for reference.
Yeah. Steve, okay, so I think these numbers are correct. If I'm wrong and a Detroit fan from the early 2000s is listening or watching, correct me.
Remember that? You guys should live in that time.
Steve Yzerman was making $7.5 million. Lidstrom was making $8 million. McCarty 1.95. Draper 1.1. Let's see. Chelios $5.5 million.
So not huge, but in comparison to the time,
$3.5 million for Brett Hall.
like Tavo's making 5.4.
$4 million for Luke Robitaille, $8 million for Dominic Hasek. $8 million for Dominic Hasek. Ottinger makes $8.5, right?
Yeah.
Hellebuck makes like $8.5.
I think that's
Hasek
right.
was making that 23 years
23
ago.
million years
23
ago.
million years ago. 23 years ago, he was making equivalent to what some of the best
8.5
goalies make
for Hellebuck right
now.
It's 8.5
crazy.
for Hellebuck.
Yeah.
And that's a new deal. He signed that last year.
Yeah.
As the best goalie in hockey.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, there you go. There's your answer. All right, let's get to this long one. I'm going to mess this up.
Oh,
all right.
boy. Here we go.
Warren Baddard says, story time. In a parallel universe, the law offices of Zawaski and Tirabassi is a young and up-and-coming law firm. This year, they want to do 3 commercials with different and current Chicago athletes. After reviewing their finances, they see that they're able to meet this goal thanks to winning a few lawsuits against the Milwaukee Escalator Company. However, after calling the agents of Connor Bedard, Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, Kobe White, Caleb Williams, Angel Reese, and Luis Robert Jr., they found there were scheduling conflicts or their budget was not big enough to even do just one commercial with either of the Chicago superstars. So, after much consideration, they decided to reach out to blank, blank, and blank of the Chicago sports world to represent and market their prestigious law office. Okay.
So does Warren Bedard's work for Howard Ankin? Because this sounds like a
Howard Ankin's got all those people.
This sounds like a Howard Ankin situation here.
All right, so we're looking for 3 clients that are not Bedard, PCA, Tucker, Kobe White, Caleb Williams, Angel Reese, or who? Somebody else is on there.
Luis Robert.
Robert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, number 1, Modest Buzelis. That's done.
Number 1?
Immediately done, yeah.
I don't know who that is, but that sounds great.
He's the future of the Chicago Bulls. Like, that's done.
My number 1 is Roma Dunze. I think he's going to have a huge year, and I think that he is got star quality written all over him.
I've enjoyed him popping up on the Bears social videos.
Yep.
He's got great answers to those questions. Yeah, he's on my list. I think Alex Vlasic's on the list.
Vlasic, Nazar.
That's not just a biased opinion. I think he's a guy that he's a good-looking kid. He's got charisma, Riz, as the kids say, and seems comfortable behind a mic and in front of a camera. So I think he'd be perfect for being in a commercial.
So we got Vlasic. We've got Roma Dunze. We need one more. I can't speak to Modest. I'm sorry. We'll give it to Katie anyway because she's producing.
Sure.
There you go.
He's also Illinois local, so
Okay.
There's a local touch there.
There you go. Spencer Knight's a good one. Brian says Spencer Knight. I think he's going to, once that contract is signed and he's here long term, I think you're going to see a very similar push from the Hawks on marketing him.
If he wants it, yeah.
When that guy, I've been in a lot of locker rooms. We've been covering a lot of players. When Spencer Knight talks, I am really focused on what he's saying. He's always saying something meaningful and insightful.
Because it's a goalie, I think they talk less often than, Baddard or Nazar, Foligno, whatever. But he also seems like one of those guys that probably is just doesn't need to talk as often as some of those guys.
Yeah.
And that puts the weight on what he says to be heavier because he's not talking every opportunity he gets. But yeah, I mean, that would be one of those guys that I think he would be marketed a little bit more once he is kind of locked into being the future starter for the next era. I think he'll get more of that push.
A couple others. Michael Evans says Nico Horner or Matt Shaw. Nico Horner is great too. Really good interview. Ian Happ's a good one too. Mm-hmm. I know Cubs fans are down on him right now, but
the Swansons, Dansby and Mallory.
Yeah, take them both.
Good one.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. Scott Iowa says, as we anticipate the start of the new year and training camp, can you describe what that first day feels like? Is it like a first day of school or a first day of a new job? What's it like for you, and how do you think it is for the players? I think for us, it's like first day of school.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing people that we know pretty well at this point.
Everybody's got their new backpacks.
Yeah, new backpacks, new credentials. And it's just seeing everybody after a summer of not seeing them for the most part. So it's got that feel. For the players, it's hard to say. I think it's just excitement to get going.
Yeah.
I think that's the feel for everybody. It's always, the first day of training camp is always positive. Everyone's smiling. Everyone's happy. Even the players are somewhat welcoming to the media because they're just excited about being back.
First day of training camp, a lot of times it's guys you'll only talk to once or twice for the entire year because they're only there for the first week of training camp. It's a temporary
locker.
Yeah, right.
Whoever's wearing number 94 this year, whatever it might be, whatever the weird number might be.
Yeah, I think the first day of school feeling is there too because it's also first day of school, it'd be all right, everyone get your syllabus. Not really learning much today.
Yeah, right.
It's not necessarily go through the motions, but it's a very basic type of day. And same kind of thing for training camp is they're not implementing X's and O's and systems and all that. First day of training camp, mostly for these guys is you're gonna skate a lot and you're gonna get puck touches.
Right.
You're gonna get into maybe some individual battles, and that's I'd say for the most part, that's what you're going to get. And then for us in media, it's a lot of reconnecting with players. If they're you might see Connor Murphy for the first time. Hey, how's summer? How's his family?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Do that with Murphy and Foligno and Dickinson and all this stuff. And then with the new guys, it's just what'd you do this summer? That wasn't on social media.
Right.
What are your expectations going into camp? I already know that those questions are going to be asked, and you already know the kinds of, I'm in the best shape of my life and I'm ready to compete for an NHL spot and prove to the team that I belong here and blah, blah, blah. There you go. There's the first week of coverage in 3 minutes.
And don't forget, overreacting to line combinations in practice.
Oh, yeah.
Which we will do in short order. No doubt about it.
Can't wait.
What's this Blashill thinking? How can these guys be together?
I'm excited for it. I'm very excited to get back to going to Fifth Third, going to practices, and just seeing hockey. We've been talking about it for so long, and these guys too. They want to get out. They want to get out of their summer training programs and just get into, being with their team and actually playing hockey and not just going through training, going through all this stuff. They want to get back to Get back to the season. Let's go.
All
Get
right.
it going.
Yes, please.
Next.
I'm very ready. Miserable for McKenna says, if Ivan Demidov is a consistent 100-point scorer, how good will Levchinov have to be for you to not look back negatively on the pick?
I think
I'm already kind of over that.
I think if you have Ivan Demidov doing that, for certain Hawks fans, Levchinov will have to win the Norris every year. And that's just an expectation that just won't be met.
I think it's doable.
It's always
no pressure.
It's always
no
possible.
Pressure.
It's not probable. For me personally, if Demidov is that player, then if Levchinov hits to the role that I think he was drafted to be, where he is offensively creative, putting up good point production, and is one of those guys that you can play on the top line, play on the top power play, and rely on defensively. If he hits all those benchmarks and he's putting up, 50, 60 points or something like that, which I know, sure, that's what like Duncan Keith used to do.
Right.
But I think that's the level that he would have to be at if Ivan Demidov is that player for me to be like, okay, everyone got what they wanted,
Yeah.
in that scenario. If he's less than that, or if he's woefully less than that, then yeah, you're gonna really have a hard time being like, oh yeah, that was the right move to go with. Revisionist history is always, in the eye of the beholder. But I think for me, if Levchinov can be that guy that he was supposed to be when he was drafted, there's not much more you can ask from him.
Yeah, I think it's very well documented that we all wanted Demidov over Levchinov in the draft, but now that Levchinov's here, it doesn't mean I'm not excited about him too.
Right.
I think I think actually of all the Hawks prospects right now, he's the one I'm most excited to watch. He's the one I'm going to be most focused on in camp and early in the season if he makes the team. Like, to me, that's the dude. We want to talk importance to the franchise. Levchinov hitting to a second overall pick level is massive.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're already getting more than you bargained with Rinzel. You already have that with Vlasic, but if your number two overall pick becomes a guy that justifies that spot, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Were the guys drafted around Duncan Keith that maybe put up more points? Yeah. But how many guys in Duncan Keith's draft would you take over Duncan Keith? Very few, right? So I'm not saying don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Levchinov's going to beat Duncan Keith. My point is, though, that it just doesn't mean that just because the points aren't there that the pick wasn't just as good or meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see who the leading scorer.
It's also not make or break on Levchinov.
Do you know the highest scorer in that 2002 draft? Do you know who it is?
2002?
First overall pick. Columbus.
Was that Rick Nash?
Rick Nash,
Yeah.
805 points in his career. Duncan Keith is second, taken 54th overall, 646 points. But is there anyone on the planet that would trade Duncan Keith for Rick Nash?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Except the Blue Jackets.
Maybe.
Yeah, they might take that trade on. So it's just, the point totals don't mean anything. They mean something, but that can't be the be-all, end-all of the calls. And if Demidov is a one-dimensional 100-point guy and Levchinov is a 50, 60-point Norris Trophy candidate every year, I'll take that.
Sure. I think that's fine.
Do we have time for one more or no?
I don't think so.
No?
We got 1
All
minute.
right. Well, we'll save some for tomorrow as we wait for the Wyatt Kaiser contract.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we going? What are we doing here?
Come on.
Come on.
I know it's going to get done, but we need something to talk about. All right. Do us a favor. Hit the like button on your way out.
Give them something
Reminder,
to
we'll be
talk
back
about.
tomorrow. We'll finish off the mailbag. Any other Hawks news and notes that happen between now and then, we'll be all over it. But we've got a good number of questions left. And if you want to send some in, feel free to hit up the Discord. We'll try to get them in for you as well. Again, become a diehard, allchgo.com/join so you can get access to our Discord and priority on Mailbag Monday. For Mario and Katie, I'm Jay. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.